last weekend was our first weekend actually doing sailing. We took our first ASA 101 sailing course down in Keelboat, Texas, which for us is about a 3.5-hour drive to get down there. So we left the night before and checked into our hotel around 8 o'clock. With what is ASA 101? It's a 2-day long course. It comes with a book that you're supposed to read ahead of time. And then on the first day, the first half of it, which is about 3 hours, is all lecture. So you sit and your captain will go over all the pertinent things you need to know. It's going to be a lot of terminology, some knots work, things about right of way, things about channel markers, things about the different points of sail. And then we break for lunch. We broke for lunch for an hour. Jessica and I both chose to go with easy on your stomach options. We've never been seasick before, but we didn't want to risk it on our first time out sailing. So we got Subway. It's easy. And we knew it wouldn't really mess with our stomachs. So had lunch, met back up on the dock. Now our specific class had 7 students in it, which was too much for any one boat. So our class was split in 2, and 3 students went on one boat with another captain, and we were 4 students in our boat. Our captain was Captain David, or Captain Dave. We were 2 sets of couples. Captain Dave walked us around the boat, gave us an introduction to it, showed us the different pertinent parts.
So we wrap our winch clockwise, and the more wraps you put, the more friction you get here. That sounds like a great thing, but if you're trying to bring in 20 or 30 feet of line and you got 4 wraps on there, chances are you're going to end up with an override. So we keep as few wraps as possible on our winch.
We walked through a pre-launch checklist.
2012, so these flares are no good. Is there an orange flare gun looking case up there, like a little...
He also walked us through the engine operations so we could get out of the marina.
All right, so now we have our fuel here. It's a seriously small tank. If you run it from here out to where we're going to start sailing, you won't make it back without putting fuel in. Up our fuel vent right here. You don't unscrew this all the way, but as the engine draws fuel out of the tank, it has to be replaced with air. And if it creates a suction in there because this is closed, it'll run until about the end of the fairway here, and then it'll stop.
And that's it. We sailed right on out of the marina. We motored out of the marina and into Galveston Bay. The inlet to and from the marina was actually very busy. It was the weekend and summertime, and there was many people coming and going, which was nerve-wracking for us as students, but it was also a very good experience because we kind of got the full experience for motoring in and out. From there, we went 3 markers out, turned up into the wind, and raised the mainsail, which was really exciting and like a big first. So from there, there were 4 students on the boat, and we practiced tacking upwind. Each student got a turn at each station, and each time Captain Dave would kind of walk us through the operations for that station. So there was tiller operation, and then the 2 jib sheets, 1 person per jib sheet, and then the 4th student just got to chill. And it was fun. It was exciting. The boat, we got our first experience of the boat really heeling over while under our control, and it was a little bit, nerve-wracking, but Captain Dave paid no mind because to him it was clearly well within the boat's capacity and capabilities, but to us we were sure the whole thing was going to flip over and we were going to die. So after we tacked up wind for a while, which was far more fun than we anticipated, we swung back around and started practicing jibes downwind. One of the big takeaways there was when you start downwind sailing, you lose the apparent wind, which is the wind that you feel blowing on you because you're now going with the wind. What you don't realize about that, it was down in Galveston Bay, it was about 100 degrees and hot, and when you lose the wind, you feel all of that heat. And that made downwind sailing a lot less fun for us, especially because these small student 20-foot sailboats, they didn't have a bimini or any sort of sun protection. So the wind was almost unnecessary to keep the situation bearable. So we practiced jibing downwind, each of us rotating through and taking turns. With jibing, there was now 4 positions that needed to be manned because we had the main sheet that had to be controlled. And that was it for day 1, really. That was about 4 hours of sailing. It took a lot longer than we realized to do the pre-check, actually get out there, get the sail up. All of us take a turn at tacking, all of us take a turn at jibing, and then get back in and make sure the boat was properly stowed. We were all beat though. It was a lot of sun. Make sure you have adequate sun protection. We all did. We all had sunscreen, we all had sunglasses and hats. Had we not had that though, it would have been unbearable. It would have been difficult. Day 2 of sailing, we start out at the dock. While it was still a little bit cool for the day, we started with practicing docking. So each of us got a turn at tiller, maneuvering the boat out of the slip, going down the, I don't know the word, the channel, turning around, coming back, and then parking the boat, docking the boat. We all got a turn at that until we felt comfortable. It was fairly straightforward. As long as you take it slow, go easy, it's not a big deal. From there, we motored out through the inlet, out past the 3rd channel marker, turned into the wind, got our sails up. We were on our way. Day 2's exercises were sailing in circles, which would hit every point of sail. The day before, we had only done upwind sailing, so close haul mainly, and the downwind jibing, which was broad reaching back and forth. So on day 2, we worked on beam reaches on both sides and just sailing in circles, which when you're sailing in circles, everybody had to be pretty active to trim the sails appropriately using whichever sheet they're on, and then the tiller person giving commands. We each got a turn at every station in sailing in circles. And then we heaved to for lunch. Day 2 was bring your own lunch, and again we brought Subway because it was boring and we knew it was safe and we didn't want to risk getting sick. We then practiced man overboard drills, and these by far were the most complicated maneuvers of the entire 2-day class, but I actually enjoyed them a lot. Captain Dave would throw a buoy overboard for us, and we would sail a specific figure-8 pattern as outlined in the book to get back down to the man overboard without ever having to jibe. It was a lot of fun to do these fast maneuvers, maybe a little bit mind-bending because you're constantly changing depending on where the wind is coming from, but it all actually went really well for our group. After doing man overboard, practiced reefing the sail, but there wasn't enough wind to sail with a reef in the sail, so we immediately took it back out. We were maybe a little bit ahead for the day, so we sailed around for a bit and headed back in to take the test. Now the test was big. It was a little bit daunting. None of us wanted to fail. For the ASA 100, it's a 100-question multiple choice test, and you have to get 80 of them correct to pass. We reconvened at the school. We did a review of the things that students have a harder time with, which would be things like right of way. We went over channel markers again and we took the test. The test was fairly straightforward. It was easy for me. I would say that had I not read the book, it would have been a lot more difficult. The book is very important for passing the test. It's not one of those things you can skip over. Speaking of the book, I have it here. This is what it looks like. It's a pretty well written and informative book. It's not like many other textbooks. It's not super thick. There's 7 chapters and about 120 pages. There were definitely moments in this where I had aha moments while reading it. It wasn't just like a drudge. Now, some of it is maybe a little bit redundant if you're watching lots of YouTube videos with people sailing. You're gonna pick up a lot of terminology, but things like the rules, the right of way, the light configurations, that's not really talked about in YouTube videos and was important to know for this course. So highly recommend reading the book. Yeah, and that was it. I think everybody in our class passed the test, and we're ready to move on to the next class, which for us, we're doing a 103, 104 combined course, which that'll be in a few weeks. In the meantime, we want to get back so we can do some extra sailing. The sailing school we used is called South Coast Sailing. I highly recommend them. We didn't have a single problem with them. The cost of the course, because it was 2 of us taking it, was obviously double because it's 2. It was about $730 some for the 2 of us combined. We also had to board the dog for the weekend and then rent a hotel for 2 nights because we were driving down there. So I think grand total for us to take the course together ended up costing around, for 101, costed around $1,100. That will vary depending, obviously, if you live nearby and you don't rent a hotel, then it's going to be cheaper. The course itself is, I'll put this on the screen, is about $340 or something like that. And it comes with the book. What's cool about South Coast Sailing is they gave each one of the students a free, what they call Skipper's Skill Building course, where we can come down on a subsequent weekend and basically get a 3 to 4 hour lesson out on the water with a different captain, no test, but we get to kind of choose what we want to work on. Each student gets a half-day charter for one of the small, mid-20s sailboats for free. So Jessica and I being a couple, we each got one, which means we can go down there and get a couple free charters and practice and get time in on the water. It's great to actually get out and be on the water as opposed to sitting behind a computer and watching other people do it.
Yeah, it was fun. The hard part was learning all the new terminology really quickly because I didn't study very much beforehand. I don't think the sailing course prepares you to do sailing by yourself because you work the whole time with a team. We're gonna have to go out by ourselves and work with just 2 people, and then eventually I would like to learn how to do it myself in case something happens where I'm by myself and I need to sail. So freedom. That's the theme of the day.
It's the whole
freedom.
point. What about like your sun gear? What would you have changed?
I would cover my ears more because I got sunburn on my ears. I don't know, I just put sunscreen on, but you have to reapply at least once. And then I put a long sleeve sunscreen shirt on at noon so I wouldn't get too much sun exposure. But my legs, I just made sure I put sunscreen on them. And I made sure I wore my hat, my sun visor. I didn't wear a regular hat because I wanted my head to breathe because it gets hot. And then I wear my sunglasses the whole time and chapstick. It's just my ears got burnt, so. Yeah, because the first boat you go on doesn't have cover or shade, so you're in the sun all day. A big puppy. She needs a hat too. Is there a dog hat?
What about dog goggles?
Yeah, dog goggles. Oh, you burped.
Bourbon. Okay.